It's the HBS show with lesson the screen goddess. History behind success of your role model. Yeah, Oluwa lifted me higher. Oh, now they wanna eat with me. Now they wanna drink with me. Now they see me as something. But I can't forget yesterday when they saw me as nothing. No one knows tomorrow, brother. No one knows tomorrow, sister. No one knows tomorrow, mama. No one knows tomorrow, Baba. Yeah. It's the HBS show with lesson the screen goddess. History behind success of your role model.
Is HBS show History Behind Success. My guest on this program is a man with a beautiful story of his humble beginning. A man who believes in himself. A man who believes on what the future holds for him. A man who has imparted in the life of so many people. Is a blessing to a lot of people. Who is this man? He's a father, a wonderful father. Who is this man? Join me as I make welcome to the program Dr. Chief Akpufuoma Lawrence Pemu to the program.
It's the HBS show with lesson the screen goddess. History behind success of your role model.
Doctor, you're looking so fresh and young.
Oh, thank you.
What's the secret?
The secret is contentment. I always tell people that once you are contented with whatever situation you find yourself, you look well, have compassion for others. And what guides my life, my philosophy is what has been said in different religions. Just do unto others as you have it done to you. Once this is your guiding philosophy, life is actually easy. You just find out that all the hula baloo, you want to be this, you want to be that. It's not bad. Because when the final hour comes, all that you have, all that you hold dear will come to naught. So once people understand that whatever station you find yourself in life, be contented. Because I keep telling people life is like a ladder. When you are climbing the ladder, there are always people ahead of you.
Definitely.
But I believe the issue with us modern people, we always look at those above us in the ladder. If we can spare just 5 to 10% of the time we spend looking up to look down, you'll find out there are people too below your station. So I believe that if you apply that philosophy in life, that if you look at those who were born the same time with you, you see some of them have done much better than you. But the converse is equally true. If you look down too, there are people born the same time with you, whom you are better than. So once you understand that philosophy, that you can't be apex in everything. Like I always tell people, if you are taller than me, you can't be shorter than me. If you're richer than me, I'm certainly poorer than you. So there's something I have over you. You are richer, I'm poorer. Yeah, you can have both. So once people understand life to be like that we all cannot be at the same level at the same time. Some people will get there early. Some people will never get there. But be consoled that wherever you are, whatever your age, if you go back to the basics, there were some people born the same time with you, but they are no longer alive. So that alone is something to be grateful for. That, oh, I'm 65 now. I'm alive. I'm good. Healthy looking. Youngish looking. Don't mind my family. Yeah,
You're 65?
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
So
don't
for
look it.
me, your attitude matters. And life is all about attitude, your mental attitude. How do you see life? How do you see your fellow human beings? And once you are able to discern this, yeah, you keep looking good as I am.
Yeah, talking about contentment,
Yeah.
which actually brought us to this program. You know, majority of our youth today, they are not contented. They always want to move above the shadow. They always want to get it faster. They just want to get the quick words. What's your take about that?
My take about that is this. We all have humble beginnings. I was born in a little village called Otrama, Elome, about 65 years ago. My mother never attended antenatal clinic. She was delivered of me by traditional birth attendant, who happened to be her aunt. So I grew up in the village. I attended Pemu primary school, first level. Thereafter, I proceeded to St. Peter Claver's College, Agalope, where I did my YF. But the truth be told, success wasn't built in it. I'll tell you something. About my wife, when I came out, I had some failed F's, I had some P's, I had some credit, but they weren't enough to get me to a higher institution. So I had to call myself to order that for me to move on in life, I'll have to, at our time, the emphasis was on education. So coming out from Agalope, I didn't have my complete credits. I had to enroll in what they call GC, General Certificate of Education. I wrote it twice before I was able to get the 5 credits at 2 sittings. Yes, that's the truth. But after getting it at 2 sittings, I could get into school at that point. But I said no. I wouldn't want to go to the university with 2 certificates to combine. So I said no. Let me go back to Form 5.
Wow.
That was about 2 years after I left secondary school. So I enrolled at the Institute of Continuing Education, Satellite. Had some formal classes now. And luckily for me, I was able to now make all the credits in one sitting. At this time around, there was no P. They were all credits. In fact, then they used to grade us Division 1, 2, 3. So I made Division 1 at grade 17. That was what I made. So thereafter, I wrote JAM. My first JAM, I failed. I didn't meet up to the cutoff one.
Okay.
The second one, this time around, I went beyond the cutoff point and I was on the merit list. Thereafter, I started medical school, finished. did my housemanship at Central Hospital, which is PA at Central Hospital Warren.
Okay.
Went for youth service in Anambra State, in Ibonyi State. Came back, started work as a medical officer at EURA. Then when the state was created, of course, I had to come to the Delta part of it, since I'm from Delta. Started work as a medical officer at Central Hospital.
Okay.
Had a brief stint at Schlumberger Jacob as a crew doctor. Then when that one ended, I decided, because at our payoff, we were paid off, and it was quite a princely sum of money at that time. So I was thinking, what do I do next? Do I come back to government service as a medical officer? Do I open a private practice? Or do I go for postgraduate, what we call residency in medicine?
Okay.
Then there were three very important people in my life at that point in time. The first one I spoke to, he said, since you have this kind of money, go ahead, go and open the practice. But the two other people said no, go and specialize. Yeah, and that's the story of my specialization. Why am I giving all of this? It's to tell the young people, like the old saying goes, Rome wasn't built in a day. I'm just trying to tell people my story,
Yes.
or the tortuous nature. It was after residency, I was appointed a consultant. I was a consultant at Central Hospital for some years. Became the medical director of Central Hospital Agbo a couple of times. Then graciously, 2016, the immediate past governor of the state, His Excellency Dr. Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, invited me to Asaba. And I've been in Asaba since 2016, still counting. So when you put all of this together, starting from, I started secondary school at about 11, 12 years, and culminated in my retirement 5 years ago. If you put all of this cumulatively together, meaning I have been on ground, I've been climbing gradually over the years. So my advice to the young people is that first, you have to develop patience. You have to be patient. This idea that everybody wants to blow, in quote, what is the fund for you to grow from, to blow from? But if you are patient, go through life stages, you'll find out, you'll eventually get there. So my advice to young people, slow down, take it easy, do what you have to do at a certain age. When you are in your teens, you should be thinking of rounding up secondary school. In your late 20s to mid-20s, you should be leaving either a higher institution. Everybody must not be doctor. Everybody must not be an engineer. Everybody must not be a lawyer. I keep telling people, learn your trade. Even in this government service, we have people we employ as cooks, as carpenters, as plumbers. But you have to be certificated. Because if you don't have a form of certification where you've been exposed, you and your peers, to a standardized form of testing, which is exams. That is what will give you the proficiency that will give you that certification. Even my young man behind the camera, you know, he wasn't born that way. He spent some time to be under tutelage by a more senior person. But today he's operating the camera. He's making you, the viewers, to hear me loud and clear. So I am not saying everybody must be an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, a teacher. No. Think of a niche where you can fit in and pursue it to a certification level. Because once you get to that level, it will just be the beginning of your story. Yes. So that's my advice to those coming.
All right, in case you're just joining us, it is HBS show, History Behind Success. And our guest on the program is the second member of Delta State Civil Service Commission, Dr. Chief Akpufuoma Lawrence Pemu. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's the HBS show with lesson, the screen goddess. History behind success of your role model. Yeah, Oluwa lifted me higher. Oh, now they wanna eat with me. Now they wanna drink with me. Now they see me as something. But I can't forget yesterday when they saw me as nothing. No one knows tomorrow, brother. No one knows tomorrow, sister. No one knows tomorrow, mama. No one knows tomorrow, papa. Yeah. It's the HBS show with lesson, the screen goddess. History behind success of your role model.
Good to know that you're still there. In case you're just tuning in, it is HBS show with lesson, and my guest on the program is Dr. Chief Akpufuoma Lawrence Pemu, the second member of Delta State Civil Service Commission. So before the break, we were talking about how you started your humble beginning, and you also said that life is in phases. You can't climb a ladder to the top in a day. You start from the first,
the lowest rung.
Yes. Now, during your humble beginning, I believe that there are some challenges. There are sometimes you are face to face with challenges that want to pull you off your track. And because you're determined, you pressed on. So tell us, what are those challenges in those days that wanted to pull you off your track, yet you kept on pushing because you believe in your future?
Well, thank you very much, Blessing. Well, there are some things you are going to hear in the program that you've never heard before.
Okay.
First, as a child under 10, I was into gambling. As a child under 10, I was drinking alcohol.
Oh, yeah?
As a child under 10, I was smoking.
Wow.
But you know the funny thing? So one day, I think I was about, like I said, let me just hide on the tent. I went to buy cigarettes. Then my older brother now saw me with the cigarette and said, "Who owns that?" I said, you're a child, no matter how rascal you are. So I mentioned one man who was our neighbor that the man sent me. Unfortunately for me, my older brother knew the man does not smoke. So Yawa gas. And of course, I received a very good hiding, a very good beating from him, and that habit stopped.
With the help of the beating.
Yeah, with the beating. That's the truth of the matter. I believe if my older brother watches the program now, he may not even remember. But I'm just telling you how things can, one event can reshape your life. Then again, when I was in secondary school, I was in boarding house initially. Then young people being who they were, I was a little bit hot-headed, but controlled hot-headed. I know when and when not to. So we got into some organized some people in my class then, and we rose up against the authorities or the seniors, and of course I got a good hiding and all of that. That without telling my parents, I had to deborder myself for the sake of my life, because I got to a point the beating was too much that as at this point I may just die. So I now debordered myself without my parents knowing. So eventually I wrote the wife. But the beauty of it was that after writing my wife and seeing my result, it looks as if the scales fell off my eyes. Because when I saw the result and know my own innate capability and probably, another vanity again, my intelligence, I said, this is not good enough. I told myself that this is not good enough. That something much better is expected of me by my parents who spend their money to send me to school, by the regard the community had in my ability and my intelligence. So at that point in time, I just said no more. I have to refocus. And like I'm telling you, this happened at about 17, 18. Yeah, I said I'm refocusing. And the story of the refocusing is why we are sitting here having this interview. So I'm just trying to tell the young people that you'll have bumps on the road. But what makes you a better person? Those bumps should make you a better person. You should be able to look back at those bumps and say, oh, thank you, God. Yeah, because most people will always want to condemn the bumps in their lives. But I tell people, don't condemn the bumps. Because the more refined, the better person that you are, probably if those bumps weren't there, you may not have ended up where you went. But like I said, in my own case, when I came home, my uncles, everybody said, you're better than me. How can you come home with this kind of result? And I had to agree with them that I'm better than them. And because of that, like I said earlier, I put myself through this thing. I'll give you a secret.
Okay.
When I left secondary school, my subjects were mainly art subjects. But I wanted to do medicine. But I didn't even do physics in secondary school. Because in those days, when you get to class 3 or form 3, you now choose the subjects you are going to write in life. So in all of that, I wasn't qualified to be in the science class. So I was more or less in the social science class. So I had to drop physics and that. But when I left school, like I said, when I got to that second hand, when that reawakening came into my head, I had to go and buy physics textbook from year 1 to year 5.
Wow.
I read it on my own, and it took me 1 year of reading it to be able to make the C6. But I said, no, that's not good enough. So I'm just trying to tell people that you see the person successful today, there's been some bounce along the way. But like I said earlier, your ability to learn from those bumps, from those knocks, makes you a better person. That's my story. Some of you now will laugh at me and say, so this man will just say no book, you know, no book, no worry, I know small. That's why I got here. Thank you.
All right. You said so well about your upbringing. There's one thing you've not told us. How did you meet your wife?
Well, yeah, it's interesting because what happened was that I think
taking back
taking back memory
to the young
days of young.
Yeah.
And what happened was that incidentally, when I finished medical school, I was posted to a comprehensive health center, Tira, which incidentally was opened by the late Admiral Augustus Ihome. And when I came back from service, he had left instruction that the first person who will come should be posted to his community. And of all people, here I was just coming from youth service. Within a week, I came. Coincidentally, I attended the interview for medical officers when I was 7. But luckily, I was successful. But there was a caveat. The caveat is that you can't resume until you come back with your discharge certificate. So when I got my discharge certificate, within a week, I went to resume then at the hospital's management board in Benin. Oh, they said, see, Admiral had left instruction that the first medical doctor who will come should be posted to his community, to his village. Okay. Of course, that young man there. Okay. So I went to Iran. So I was there. I developed a friendship with one of my mentors, my very good friend, old schoolmate, Dr. Chief Okpidi, T.O. Okpidi. So he was then the chairman of pre-degree program. So I had a cousin who wanted to get admission. So in the process, I got to meet him and we became very good friends. So I was going to his office to see him periodically from my place. He even brought me to Rotary Club as it were there. Then in the process, I saw a young lady who was a lecturer in his department, specifically chemistry department. And I said, who's this young lady? He said, I'm a grand catcher, nobody caught you there. And me, I treasured yes. Don't trade. So that was it. So started, it took quite a while, I must say. It took quite a while because, unfortunately, before I met her, my history has preceded me. So I've been known as, so with that, I've been known with a man with a roving eye, let me say it on camera. So with that, it was a little bit bumpy. But by and large, after some times, walked down the aisle. Blessed with 3 children.
Wow.
2 boys and a girl. Set of twins. A girl and a boy. The son and a boy.
Wow.
Graduated,
It's so sweet.
yeah.
All right. You're now retired.
Yeah.
In the civil service, there's this common trend in the life of retirees. When they retired, most of them, once they retired, before you say Jack, they are dead or they are incapacitated, one thing or the other. Majority, after retirement, they have nothing to fall back to. Many don't have investment. They just put their hope on their monthly salary. So now, what is your advice to civil servants on preparation to retirement?
Thank you very much. For me, like we politicians would say, the end of one election is the beginning of the next election. So for me, the concept I want every civil servant, whether beginning or nearing the end of the service to have, is that the day you were employed, know one day, if you don't die in active service, you will retire. For me, what I did should serve for some people who want to, as advice. The first month I joined the service was the first month I joined the cooperative. Because as a civil servant, there is no way, except you're unscrupulous, there's no way you are going to amass so much money to do anything meaningful based on what you have been paid. So like I said, first say, I joined the cooperative. After a couple of years, because I stayed a couple of years, and most cooperatives will give you twice or thrice whatever you have contributed. If you have 1 million, automatically they can give you 3 million. If you had 500, they can give you 0.5. But ordinarily, there's no way the average civil servant can save that kind of money. To say you want 3 million, you say that you can't. But you can work towards saving the 1 million probably in 5 years. So if within 5 years you have 1 million, you can now access 3 million. And with that, what I did in my own case was that when I accessed my first loan, I bought land. Then the next 2 years, I had to pay back. But don't forget, as I was paying back, my contribution was still running. Okay. I had to tighten my belt. The contribution was still running, but the land was there. After 2 years, paying off. Of course, the contribution now, if I had 1 million, but after 2 years, it's now maybe 1.3, 1.4. I took another time. Started off my bill. Ordinarily, as a civil servant, there was no way I could have amassed that kind of money if I was to say, oh, let me wait till I get it 3 million. It would be very difficult. So my advice is that once you join the service, please, please, please join any cooperative of your choice. And from there, you start building. That's how people do. That's how they buy cars. That's how I even knew of people who way back then had their children in private school. Ordinarily, a civil servant couldn't do that. But what they do, at the beginning of the school year, they go take pay for the child's school fees. Start paying back by the next school year, because having your children in private school, as it were, and I believe as it is now, has its advantage. But I must commend the government of Delta State over the years, where the tertiary institutions in Delta operate like private schools, in the sense that there is no interruption. I don't know the magic our governors and the present governor have wrought in the educational sector of Delta State, that there's no strike. Even when there's a national strike, it doesn't affect students of Delta. So for those of us who went through schools where once there's a strike, you have to go home, and what we are seeing in Delta and private schools is very commendable. So with that, people will go out of their way to get money to pay. So what I'm saying is that to effectively cope as a civil servant, please, please, you must join a cooperative. You do that over time. Probably a businessman be able to build his house in 6 months, 1 year. But for a civil servant, it's a long-term development plan.
Yes, because
it's not a short-term development plan. I bought the plot, like I said, before I could build it and move in. It took about 7-8 years. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, I have a place over my own.
You're out of tenancy.
Yeah, so when you put all of that together, it comes back to the question you asked: why do people die shortly after retirement? Again, it's lack of preparedness. Because like I said, if from day one you come in, you know that there's an expiry date for that job, and the expiry date for that job is your retirement. So once you know that, some people may say, oh, it's because I started at a high level, because I started off as a level 15 officer and all of that. Agreed. What I would have been able to save as a level 15 officer, a level 1, level 2 will not be able to save that. Agreed. But the thing is this: equally, my needs as a level 15 officer, my responsibilities as a level 15 officer, give or take, are likely to be more than somebody who's on level 4. So what I'm saying is that if I'm saving, say, 5% of my 100,000, that's 5,000. But if you're able to save 5% of your 10,000, that's how much? That's 500. So all I'm saying is that if you save the 500 every month for 1 year, you're going to have 6,000. In 2 years, 12. But ordinarily, there was no way you could have saved that just keeping the money aside. You can't. Because whether you like it or not, life generally, like I said, is full of bounds. You may be putting the money in one savings account. One thing will come, and you'll have to access that savings
Empty that
account.
savings.
But once it's in the cooperative, it's like when we were growing up, they make this wooden box. They call it safe.
Yes.
So when they
With
give you,
tiny hole.
with a whole tiny hole, you drop your pennies there and all of that. After a while, you break it safe.
During Christmas
Yeah,
period.
yeah. So when you put that, that's what happens with cooperative. So, because once the money has been taken at source, you don't have access to it
You don't have power.
except you apply for a loan.
Yes.
And of course,
You still
the
pay
process is not quite so smooth. I mean, it's not that you want it today, you get it today.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. So people shouldn't say, oh, it's because I started at that level. No. All I'm saying, the things you'll do should be within your limits. What I'm saying is that, take for instance, somebody on level 4 has no business going to buy a plot that is selling for 2 million, because the location will be different.
Yes.
From a plot that's probably going for 500. Yeah. The locations will be different. But what I'm saying is that if you get where you get a 500, you work towards that. Because I keep telling people, the cost of buying a plot differs, but the cost of building is practically the same. If you have your land where you bought your plot 500, you have your land where you bought the plot 5 million. The cost of cement is the same. The cost of trip of sand is the same. The cost of workmanship is the same. Yeah. Nobody's going to tell you that because you bought this land in high density area, I will sell cement to you for 5,000. No, if it's 10,000, the 10,000 I buy is what you will buy.
Yes. So
what I'm saying is that, so for the level you are in, what will matter to you to be able to get a plot? It's not to think of the one I bought 500. You save within your cooperative to make sure you get the one of 500. But over time, I may build my own, like I said, about 5-6 years. But if you're at that level, you build it 10 years, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But at the end of 10 years,
it's just
you have a roof over your head. Such that, because there's nothing as punishing as retiring and you're still paying rent.
Yes.
Because once you retire, your income becomes fixed. If probably you are X amount when you were working, every year you have some increment. Every time you get promotion, you have an increment. But if you are Y amount at retirement, it stays like that. The increments don't come every year. Yeah. So for that reason, but the rent you are paying, the landlord is not going to tell you that, hey, look, because you are retired, my rent is going to stagnate. The rent will stagnate. The rent will keep moving up. So that's why I tell people, no matter how tough it is, I may build a 2-bedroom flat, 3-bedroom flat. What if you are level 4? Don't build facing at this. Even if 4 rooms. Initially, you will say it doesn't matter. But you will find out when you retire.
That matters a lot.
It matters a lot. So I tell people that's the way to go. But don't say, these people are buying in this estate XYZ for 5 million. Me, I'm going to actually to buy for. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, regression, we all come down to the same level. You did your house.
I did my own.
I did my own. Your own are duplex. My own are face me, I face you. But I'm not the parent, you're not the parent.
With the same level.
It be this, it come. As you get, as they charge you, they charge you. Your own side will pass now, because you be big woman. I'm small man.
Wow, I know you're having fun on this program today. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like and share it. HBS Show with Blessed. So let's go to politics.
Yeah.
Our working governor had done so well within this short periods in office. Have you been to Warri recently?
Of course, I passed that to my village.
So tell us, what is happening there?
Yeah, what's happening is that first, we have to try to unravel the unusual man called Elder Sheriff Uborori we have as governor. Why do I say so? Ordinarily, when people come into office, their aim, their goal is to start new projects in their names. Why am I saying that Sheriff is unusual? He vowed from the one that he's going to be governor for all. Well, whether you're APC, PDP, Labour Party, Chekiri, Joy, Soko, Nyoma, he's going to be governor for everyone. That was the first vow he made in the stadium, the day of inauguration. Then another unusual thing, like I said, is this idea of continuing with the projects he met on ground, which his predecessor, His Excellency Power, which were ongoing. Because like I said, usually people want to come and abandon those projects. But the beauty of Delta State and the beauty of what Sheriff has been able to do, okay, no worries, I just call you Sheriff like that. You know, so I don't put elder before. So that he's been able to do is such that there is no abandoned project. Every project he met, he's been carrying on with it. But that hadn't stopped him from initiating new one, which is where we come to this Warri thing. For those of us who are familiar with that route, when you are leaving Akpufuoma and you get to the DSC roundabout, some of the times the traffic hold-up can be very choking. Then when you crawl eventually and get to the PTI junction, that's another hold-up. Then when you get into town and you're leaving from to Warri, the NRN roundabout can be very choking. But when he came in his usual pragmatic way, thank goodness, he too has experienced that for several years. So I had this dream of putting a flyover at the DSC roundabout, at the PTI junction, and the quality of work going on there is not surprising, because without equivocation, the best of my recollection, this is one major project that Julius Berger is coming to execute in Delta State. That's fantastic. It's what we call in political parlance legacy project. It's a project you leave behind. Not that one rainy season will come and wash it away. Deltans yet unborn would say, oh, this beautiful place. there's no way when you pass through that place, when it is completed, that the name of Right Honorable Elder Sherry Francis Omolokwede Oborori will not be mentioned. Thank you.
Wow. All right. Just before we go, which other laudable projects has it done that you still want to talk about?
Well, if I have to itemize and list projects, like the biblical saying, legion, but suffice it to mention a few. We have the storm water drainage project going on in Sabah here. There's one going on in Agbo. There's one going on in Warri. Then the completion or the dualization of the Asaba Ughelli Expressway. It's gone to an advanced stage. Then the establishment or the management of school of, the establishment of the School of Management.
Yes.
It's one of the campus of Southern Delta University. Then recently, the rapprochement between him and our president, Bola Tinubu, to bring the School of Aviation, which hitherto had one campus up north. But President said no, there's need for some form of decentralization, and now decided that every of the geopolitical zones should have one. Luckily, that for South is located at Osubi.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Then of course, like I said, the roads are many. You go to Ogbokodo, you go to I don't know whether recently you passed through Agbaro, you get to Okan Junction.
Yes.
It used to be a no-go area. Exactly. But when he came, he's been able to do it now. You drive effortlessly. You can bypass where the construction is taking place. So thank you.
All right.
But this is just like I said, it's a tip of the
iceberg. More projects.
Like his acronym of development, the more agenda.
Yes.
Yeah. So more is still expected, and he will still do more.
Wow. Thank you so much, Doctor, for your time on this program. No doubt you had a swell time on today's episode with Dr. Chief Akpufuoma Lawrence Pemu, the second member of Delta State Civil Service Commission. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our YouTube channel, HBS Show Lesson. Like we said, think of a niche you can fit in. Don't say that government has not provided means of living for you. Just think of what you can do and you'll be happy. I am Blessing of Pemu. We'll do it again.
It's the HBS show with lesson, the spring goddess. History behind success of your role model.